All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Can't
welcome to
help it.
Lonny Boy's house show. Mafia Bob is hanging out with me. Hey, we got to give a big shout out to our man, Right Hook Ray. He'll be back soon. So take
That's
care
right.
of yourself, Raymond. That's right, Right Hook Ray. That's
That's right.
we got a lot to talk about, and we haven't got a chance to go over WrestleMania yet. We're going to do some stuff. We're
That's
going to
right.
talk actually about some of the scenarios there, Bob. WrestleMania. Let's jump right into it. I mean, without the fans over the last couple months, it's
It's
unless that performer. What's that?
no, it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same feeling.
No, it certainly doesn't. Unless that performer is an absolute good actor, a really good actor, it's really not selling without the crowd. Now, when they get in the ring and they start mixing it up, like we saw that the Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss, tag team match, that was a fantastic match. You get in the ring, you can make the crowd
That was a,
disappear,
that was a great
and that's
match.
what they did, in that match. Yeah, that was a fantastic match. I'm going to stay on the positive side of the fantastic matches. Um, uh, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan right now is, I think, one of the best wrestlers in the game right now. That is actually one of the best performers in the ring. Sami Zayn, that was a great matchup. That was a great matchup.
And especially I think tagging him with Gulak, that they crack me up together. They actually look like they're brothers or something, cousins.
Well, we'll put it this way: they're phenomenal wrestlers. I mean, they actually are what it's supposed to be about in the ring. I mean, there are so many lineup changes to WrestleMania, I couldn't keep up with them. But those guys, like I said, together, whether it's singles and tag, you throw a Cesaro in there and a Nakamura, these guys in that middle range right now, to me, are at the top tier in WWE. You can
Yeah,
throw out all the old names you
they're the
want,
ones holding it together.
absolutely, as far as the entertainment value goes. Um, we're going to hear from Braun Strowman a little bit later on Stars on Thumbs. We can't afford regular guests on the show, but we'll have them on Stars on Thumbs. But the Bill Goldberg match, I mean, we kind of, five spears, a
Uh,
couple slams, and it was over. That's it.
that was awful. That was almost as bad as
Yes,
the
it
Bray
was.
Wyatt Goldberg
And
match.
my point, yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. It was just as bad. Bill Goldberg, you and I both are huge Bill Goldberg fans, but it's not the time right
Uh,
now to bring them in. If you can't fill the seats and fill the viewers with the talent you have in your stable right now, you got to be re-looking at what you're doing as a company. I mean, Goldberg isn't gonna. If you told me that was the main event and I had to pay $10 to watch it, I'd go throw bread to ducks out in a pond somewhere first.
right. And honestly, the more I've watched Goldberg and look at his old matches, I I really don't care for him as a wrestler anymore. Back in the day, it was like, oh, because he'd do the spear and you thought that was awesome. But now it's just, I don't know, it's gotten old. And I see some of the interviews with
It's
wrestlers
archaic.
and his attitude. No one likes him. I mean,
Well, I mean, like I said, there's wrestlers that are waiting. I mean, look what happened to Ricochet. What happened to Ricochet? Here's a guy,
right.
working his way up from NXT to the mid range, and all of a sudden he's getting stuffed down into a tube sock. It's not fair. I'd be upset.
No, and he's a crazy good wrestler. Like Ray hooked
I've seen him
told
live.
me to
He's
watch
fantastic.
some of his old matches from before WWE, and he was doing crazy stuff. I mean, some of the stuff he was doing,
Yeah,
you don't even see it, and now he's nowhere to be found.
right, right. Let's talk about some of the other matches that we saw. Um, Rhea Ripley, comes in. I think she's one of the best, up and coming female wrestlers in the game right now. Period. I just
Yeah, I like
enjoy
her.
seeing her.
Of the new women wrestlers coming out of NXT and stuff, she's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, there's a few coming out of NXT. I mean, Shayna Baszler, when she gets in the ring, she's the goods. You know, she's violent, and you believe her. She's a very believable, violent character.
Yeah, they ruined that with that whole chewing on Becky Lynch and the blood thing. That was so lame. I just didn't buy into
Becky
that.
Lynch, though, Becky Lynch drives herself in an ambulance to the hospital.
And then drives a semi to WrestleMania.
That's right. I mean, who can complain about Becky Lynch? So, you know, right now, I mean, the women's division right now is even more muddled than the men's division. I mean, you've got basically one storyline to pick from, and that's the same storyline that we've been seeing for what, the last 4 or 5 years. Is Sasha going to turn on Bailey? That's it. That's your big storyline right now. And you got all that talent,
Yep.
you know, the Natalias of the world, the Lacey Evans of the world, you know, the list goes on and on and on. You know, honestly, the tag team matches right now, uh, you know, Nikki Cross and Bliss right now, I think are top of their game right now. Same with the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
can watch
you.
them every week. They don't even need a
Yeah.
storyline. But when it comes to storylines, how
No.
many times have we been fed that line from Banks and Bailey? You know, they're finally going to turn on each other.
Yeah. But I agree with you. The Alexa Bliss and Kabuki Warriors, I could watch them every week, and they have actually been, even without the audience, the Kabuki Warriors and Bliss have been super entertaining. The way they go over on the commentating,
Exactly.
it has been hilarious.
Nikki Cross too. She gets over on the
Yeah.
table, and you know that it is. You're right. They're able to make the crowd disappear. They're able to make the crowd disappear, which is good. Now, like I said, it's been 4 or 5 years since we've been hearing about Bailey and Sasha making the move against each other. The way I see it, it's going to come down to SummerSlam. I bet you Sasha wins Money in the Bank and then carries that on into SummerSlam, cashes it in, and then the feud starts. So, that's my guess, my prediction on that. Would I like to see it? Yeah.
I agree with you there. It looks like they're leading that up to that for sure.
Yeah, I do. I want to see something like that. It would be fun to watch. But put it this way, when we finally get it too, it better be good. There's a lot of anticipation and build up towards this.
Right. I agree with you there, definitely.
Yeah. So let's is there any other matches you wanted to talk about that were of any kind of note or import, from WrestleMania?
Well, you know what? The WrestleMania, I mean, it definitely wasn't the same without the crowd, but one that I really enjoyed, and I don't know, I haven't got a chance to talk to you about it, is I actually enjoyed the Funhouse match with John Cena, the way they did it. I thought that was brilliant.
That was really cool. Yes. That was really cool. And what about our man getting the girl? He finally
Otis finally got his woman.
Rose and Otis. Finally sometimes, like I said, the fun stuff like that is what actually is the entertainment value. The whole evil dark word premise of revenge, and I keep saying that, but I guess that's Ray's generation. You and I have watched a different generation where we saw guys like Scott Hall come out. Nash, the NWO.
Razor
And these guys, they could be mean, they could be hateful, but you loved them. You loved them. It wasn't them talking about revenge. It was them coming out and dominating, giving somebody a whooping. I enjoyed that, that era, where there was some entertainment. No, I'm like, maybe not going back to Honky Tonk Man or anything like that, but something that was, like you said, you could laugh and have some entertainment value to it. If you don't, then you need to be as good as Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn when they're fighting in the ring. Because, like I said, that's top notch stuff. I mean, did you see
Yeah.
the Seth Rollins match? What do you think of that?
It was okay. You know me. I'm not a big
Did
Seth
you see the
Rollins
Seth
fan.
Rollins match? Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
but it was okay. I don't know. I just can't buy into Seth Rollins. I mean, he is a better heel than a face, but I don't know. There's something about him I just can't get into.
Is that right? Oh, what about AJ Styles going up against the Undertaker? Now, I like
Now
that. I think more than
that
you
was
like it.
brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it was good. AJ Styles, he's probably one of the best around right now. I mean, his style, the technique, everything. I mean, that's another one Ray's told me about to watch some of his old stuff and where he's came from.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
he's just a wrestler's wrestler. And I mean, I appreciate that about him.
Well, he makes everybody better when you're up against AJ Styles.
Right.
I think he can go in the ring against anybody and he automatically makes them better. We've said that before time and time again. So, I mean, you get him, say, like I
Right.
said, he's an athletic wrestler. He knows how to take the lumps. He can take the big hits and he can dish them out. And like I said, I mean, you know, we need more of that, I think. We haven't even talked about AEW yet. And I mean, the whole
Right.
coronavirus thing really took the steam off of AEW. And that's a shame. Entertaining shows. The crowds were phenomenal. The crowds really enhanced that show. And, it's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm still watching
Those
on Wednesday
crowds were
nights. I don't know
insane.
if you are or not.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch them. It's definitely not the same the way that they interacted with the crowd too. It's just, I mean, both products have lost a lot, and I mean you can see that in the viewership, even with WWE, how it's went down. But I mean, yeah, I'm still hanging in there. And actually, what WrestleMania had one of the largest online viewerships of anything. I believe it was. I read. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
they
just hoping
they
they can hang
benefited
in,
for
get through it.
well, they benefited from people having literally nothing else to do.
Pretty much, right? And when ESPN is even running old WrestleManias and other wrestling events, I mean,
You're right. I'm having domestic issues here. What you doing there, fool? Crazy kids running all over the place. Now, my lovely wife, after she assaulted us um, on our last show, she's been really pushing the envelope lately again, especially with this quarantining. She really, I don't know, it's really starting to get to her. I think. I mean, she's poking at me. She's always doing things. She's I don't know. She just drives me nuts too. I can tell you that right now. Like, oh, come on, come
well,
on,
you
get
might
out of my
deserve some of it.
nose. I don't deserve any of that. She. I, I can't wait to
Oh,
go
Wet
back to
Willie.
work. I don't want no wet willies. Hey, watch the shelf. Watch the shelf. Oh, oh God. Oh, thank you for the flower. She's constantly needing attention, and I think that's the problem. I think what I need to do is get like a babysitter and have her come sit with her and play some board games and do some coloring, something, anything to entertain her. Because
Throw
obviously I'm not.
throw a ball of
Get
yarn
the
across the
flower.
floor.
Yeah, throw a ball of yarn across the floor to her. So anyway, let's start talking about our let's talk about our current wrestlers right now. We've wanted to do this list for a while. Thank you. She gave me some M&Ms. That's nice. Our current list of favorite wrestlers, our top five. And we can go from five all the way to number one. I'll start us off here. Right now, currently in WWE, and my list includes AEW as well. Number 5 is
Right.
Bailey for me. And the
Oh,
reason
wow.
I'm putting Bailey at number 1 is Bailey's been asked to do everything that Bailey's needed to do to hold on to that championship. She's done it for a long time. The only thing they haven't done for Bailey is give her a great storyline. There's been some off and on great matches they've had her with, but she has stuck it out as far as the women's division goes. She's been the steadiest performer in WWE in the women's division, period. Next to Charlotte. I'd say next to Charlotte, next to Becky. And I'd even throw Asuka in
Right.
there, as well. So, but Bailey, she stands out. There's times where she was willing to take the job matches, do what she needed to do some of the heavy lifting. But again, and I hope they do this right, to bring, Sasha and her into a feud, make it right and make it good, because that's what I'm anticipating. I think a lot of other people are. Bailey deserves it, Sasha does,
Right.
and so do the fans. So there's my number
Right.
5. Bob, what's yours?
Well, since I've just basically recently gotten back into watching wrestling within the last, year or so, number 5, I have, who's been just every time I've watched him, he's kept me entertained, is Kevin Owens. He's been one of my favorite guys to watch. He's good with the mic, and he's always entertaining in the ring.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good example. Good top 5. My number 4 is Cody Rhodes. And the reason being, with Cody Rhodes and what he does in AEW, this guy, phenomenal on the mic. He's one of the best on the mic, and he backs it up in the ring. And
Right.
there's no better entertainment value when he comes out to do mic time or to do a match. You're getting 120%. There's no lackadaisical script. There's nothing. He's not holding back anything. So, who's on your number 4 on your list?
So number 4 for me is Shinsei Nakamura. I love him when he comes out. His music, he's an excellent wrestler, tactician. Yeah. He's always entertaining.
Yeah, and this is a tough list too to put together.
And he's not a great mic guy. This last week was the first time I think I've heard him say anything on the mic.
Is that right? I've never heard. Yeah, actually, I think that is right. I think that is right. So
he's always had Sami Zayn there to.
Sammy will take everybody's mic time. So I'm going to get to my number 3 on the list here. My number 3 on the list is Bray Wyatt, and it's taken a while for it to get there, but the Firefly Funhouse and the whole package is, like I said, it's the entertainment value, and I love it. And Bray Wyatt would be my number 3 current wrestler. So who's your number 3?
Right. My number 3 is actually Hangman Adam Page. I've really enjoyed watching him. He's entertaining. He's great in the ring. The whole angle they had going with him on AEW was great. Right now, though, not having the crowd has kind of slowed him down a little, because he fed off the crowd and got, interacted with the crowd a lot. But still, Adam Page is number 3 on my list right now.
That's a great call. I mean, you can't dispute that at all. My number 2 on the list is Jon Moxley. I think Moxley, again, given the microphone, he does his job. You put him in the ring, 120%. It's going to be worth sitting there and watching. You don't have to worry about his matchup, who he's up against, or what kind of competitor. It's going to be a tough, athletic match. And Moxley, his move to AEW was brilliant. And right now, he and Cody Rhodes for me are must see when they're on.
Yeah, his move to AEW is great because they're letting him be Johnny Moxley and not something that he isn't.
Right. Yeah, I can completely agree with that. So who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Bray Wyatt. I know at first when I got into this, I was like, you got to be kidding me with this, and Ray was like, no, you got to just keep watching and watching, and you know what? He was right. I love the Fun House. I love everything, and Ray even sent me some links to some old the Wyatt family stuff that were excellent too. The promos he did for them were great. I'm digging Bray Wyatt. Yeah, he's my number 2 right now, wrestler.
Yep, can't dispute that. My number 1 right now is Daniel Bryan. And, it was a tough decision, who I was going to put at the number 1 spot. But right now, when it comes to WWE, he is one of few that is must see for me. But what he's doing, though, as far as he's keeping the level of competition at a higher bar than anybody else in WWE right now. I can't wait to watch him wrestle. And, he's great with the crowd. He does great interaction, but what he does in the ring is phenomenal. And right now, I think he is at the peak of his career.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your number 1 there, Mafia Bob?
My number 1 is Chris Jericho. I can't get enough of him.
Wow.
He lays it all out in the ring, and there is not anyone that is more entertaining on the mic than him. He is amazing with the mic. There's no one in AEW or WWE right now that could touch him doing promos or speaking. And you can tell he just rolls with it. There's nothing scripted. He just knows how to do it. I love watching Jericho right now.
I think right now, I think it's time for a visit with Bray Wyatt. What do you think? Yeah, with our stars on thumbs. Yeah, I think we should open it up.
Yay, stars on thumbs.
I thought you were doing. I thought you were doing.
All right, here we go.
You're doing Braun Strowman.
Oh no, you're right. Braun Strowman, not Bray Wyatt. I'm sorry. Yeah, Braun Strowman. I'm sorry, Braun Strowman. All right, son, get out of here. Go on, kid. Never worked with animals and children, I tell you. All right, here we go. Here's our stars on thumbs. Let's see if we see. I see you back there. Go on, go over there. Oh, there we go. There's Braun. I can't find the center. I can't find the center here. Here we go. Oh, there we go.
Right there.
Yeah. Roar! That's right. I finally got my shot at the title. And it only came because another wrestler backed out, and the company loves me so much, they let me be Intercontinental Champ for at least 10 seconds, and now they're going to let me be the WWE Champion for about 5 more minutes, and then they'll probably end up giving it to somebody next week. My name is Braun Strowman, and I'm tired of being a jobber. You hear me, Vince? You hear me, Vince?
You got to run around the ring now.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Get these hands.
These thumbs. You want these thumbs? There we go. There's our special visit from Braun Strowman on Stars on Thumbs. Well, but let's talk about that a little bit. I'm glad, if somebody deserves to wear a belt, it's Braun Strowman. Entertaining, great on the mic, and you know what? He can go out there and put a show on. And for a big guy, he is a really good guy out there in the ring to have. And you talk about the misuse and mishandling of somebody. They give him a couple gimmicks and work with that instead of expanding what they can do with him. I hope they take the opportunity while he's the champion to actually do something with him, get him involved in some different storylines, and make them last more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds. The whole Sami Zayn thing with Zayn taking over.
Going.
Well, yeah, I see where it's going, but how long is that going to last? I mean, was Roman Reigns supposed to be the heavyweight champion? Was that supposed to happen? I don't know. You tell
Yeah,
me.
I think it was. I think it was.
I think it was too. And actually, I'm more glad to see Braun Strowman get a chance to wear the belt for a little bit longer anyway. So,
Do you think that Strowman's just going to hold the belt until Roman gets back in there and everything gets back to normal, or?
and I'm hoping not. That's what I'm hoping not. Give him something good at least through SummerSlam, something he can fight with, fight
Right,
for. Uh, you know, it just like I said, it just for somebody with that big of a personality that he has, and he has a huge personality. They like I said, they just completely in my opinion, misused him. So I'm a
right.
Braun Strowman fan.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So do
hoping
you want to what?
that's not the thing that's going to happen either. They're just letting him hold the belt until Roman and everything gets back to normal, and I hope that's not it, but I have a feeling it will be.
Okay. Hey, let's get to our top 5 wrestlers of all time. This is a tough list. This is a tough list. So do you want to
Yeah,
start off
this
with
was
your
real
number
tough.
5 first? Yeah, I
Okay, I'm going to
scratched out
start off
about a
with my
dozen
number
names.
5, and my number 5. I know. That's what I had so many. My number 5 was actually on my current list too, and it is Chris Jericho. From
Wow.
back in the day, in
Nice.
the Attitude Era when he came into WWE.
Yep.
The different characters he's went through, he's always been entertaining. I've always liked the
Y2J.
Y2K Jericho. Yep. Even to what he is now, as one of the older guys still in the business, and he's still entertaining. So Jericho is my number 5 of all time.
Wow, that's a good pick. I kind of surprised me with that one. My number 5 is believe it or not, Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. And
Oh,
I remember watching Kurt Hennig when I was younger, and he was, basically before he started, lifting and working out, which he did,
right.
and he finally developed a character. When he became Mr. Perfect and everything he did, I could not stop watching him, and I loved even his wrestling ability too. He was a phenomenal
The
wrestler.
perfect plex.
Yeah, the perfect plex. Everything was perfect. I mean, this guy could cut a promo and it would have you in tears laughing. Kurt Hennig to me was one of the just most fundamental entertainers in the business. A mid-card guy, intercontinental champ a couple times, took runs at the title, the heavyweight belt, but it didn't matter who he was up against. He was must see and absolutely enjoyed everything he did. So Kurt Hennig's my number 5 all
Right.
time. Who's your 4?
I like that too. My number 4. This is back to my childhood era, and he was always entertaining. Probably to me one of the best guys on the mic ever. Still entertaining, and has just recently come into AEW is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes, Jake the Snake. He was a showman, not much of a wrestler, but there was a great show
No, he wasn't
mentality
much
and a
of a
show
wrestler,
element about him.
yeah. Yes.
So,
And I loved
already,
it.
yeah,
I love the
Jake the Snake.
DDT. I remember doing the DDT on
Yeah.
my little brothers all the time.
I'm trying to do the Diamond Dallas Page. Bang!
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I like the Diamond Dallas Page. My number 4 on the list, I mentioned him earlier, Scott Hall. When he was Razor Ramon or Scott Hall,
Yeah.
WWE, or WCW, he just acted the part so well.
Yes.
In fact, I don't even know if he acted, to be honest with you. I think he was who he was out there in the ring in the same way in real life, to be honest with you. So Scott Hall is my number 4. Who do you
With
have?
that toothpick in his mouth all the time.
Yeah, bang. throwing that toothpick. I loved it.
Yeah. So my number 3 is Hulk Hogan, just because of through my childhood, he's what brought me into wrestling. His whole era, all the stuff he did. I think he just brought so many fans back into wrestling, and Hulk's number 3 for me.
My wife agrees with you. She's a Hulk Hogan fan. She calls him Terry. They're on a first name basis.
I don't call him Terry.
Oh, okay.
That's his real name.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Yeah.
Did you see the way
My
he
throat's
looks
getting
now?
dry. Yes. He looks like an old Hulk Hogan. I mean,
No, he looks like
wrinkled
Papa
up
Smurf. He
newspaper.
grew a big beard and it's all white.
Oh, I didn't see that. He looks like Papa Smurf. Yikes.
Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah.
My number 3 here. You know, this was kind of a toss-up here. But I went with Bruno Sammartino at number 3. And everybody that grew up in Pittsburgh and down in that area, Bruno Sammartino was it. The length of time he held the belt, you never got to see Bruno unless you went to a live match and paid the ticket. He came out, did some interviews on the TV, and then they actually aired him in the Larry Zbyszko match where Larry Zbyszko turned on Bruno Sammartino. People were devastated. I mean, but Bruno Sammartino, if there's a Mount Rushmore, he's on that Mount Rushmore because he set the pay scale for a lot of wrestlers and set the trend for a lot of wrestlers. And he almost lost his whole career holding out, trying to get more and try to get what he deserved. But the guy worked out like a maniac. People followed his regimen. And the guy was, like I said, as far as a wrestler goes, a good guy. Bruno Sammartino was it. That was it. He's my number 3 all-time favorite.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, but who do you have at number 2, Bob?
So number 2 and number 1 were really hard for me. They were both right there. But I got number 2 is The Rock. I love that Attitude Era. Probably number 1 or 2 on the mic. That he could just talk so much smack and it just came natural to him on the mic. And in the ring, all them different matches he went through with different people were all great. I just loved the Attitude Era, and so The Rock is number 2 for me.
You know, that's tough leaving him. I've left Hulk off the list, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair. You know, I've left them off the list. That's actually another person I left off the list too. The Rock, when he started off as one of the acolytes or whatever he did, you know, he was just a bit player, you know. But when they gave him the microphone and it became the people's eyebrow, you know, the people's elbow, and you know, Rudy Poo, Candy Ass, everything he did, you know, he was phenomenal and one of the best. I'd say he was number 1 on the microphone. I'd put him at number 1 on the microphone. I mean, he owned the crowd. He had them in their hand. Period. My number 2 is The Undertaker. I took The Undertaker at number 2. And I go back to some of the matches. I remember when he first came up in the WWE, here's like this 6'9" athletic looking dude with this long, stringy red hair walking across the sides of the rope. For a guy his size, he was one of the most athletic big men I've ever seen in wrestling history. You don't get to see big men like that are that athletic. He was amazing. If I go back to some of my favorite matches that I've watched over the years, the WrestleManias, all the pay-per-views, regular matches, I mean, even seeing him live down in Pittsburgh a couple times, The Undertaker, just a showstopper in my opinion. An absolute showstopper.
Yes. Who can
So,
you can never
all
forget
right,
the
Bob.
Hell in a Cell match with Mick Foley.
Oh, how you can never forget some of those matches, especially that one.
Yeah,
That was amazing. Who the
yes.
hell is that making noise now at your place? Oh, all right. Who do you have at number one,
They're
Bob?
down here looking. So, number one for me, one of
Yeah,
my favorites all time. Love seeing him. Stone Cold Steve Austin, definitely my number one. He was
that's
another
another one
one,
I left
that
off the
Attitude
list too. It
Era,
was tough.
and he some of the gimmicks they did that with him and Vince and all them, behind the scene filming things were great.
Yeah, nobody can catch flying beer cans like Steve Austin either. So,
He still does too.
but you started talking about a trend for everything. That Austin 316, that became a trend
Right.
across all the sports. So trendsetter,
Yep.
great microphone guy. I'd say top 5, maybe even right behind The Rock, as far as being great on the microphone.
It,
So, but this is another tough call that
even
I left off
today,
my list.
even today, even AEW and in WWE, when people start saying stuff, they all start going, "What?" I mean, they still do it. How many
Exactly.
years later?
Yes, exactly. So, hey, also, uh, well, you know what? I got my number one. I forgot about it. My number one, Mankind, Mick Foley.
Um,
And,
yeah,
you see wrestlers, the old school wrestlers like Terry Funk, a lot of these guys who did the hardcore matches. Mick Foley did whatever Mick Foley had to do to make sure everybody left that audience with the best match they ever saw. That man sacrificed his body and everything
yes,
for that business. Whenever I see cheesy ass, you know, lame, redundant stunts in the ring, I think of Mick Foley and what he did to entertain everybody. I'm not comparing him to someone like a Joe DiMaggio, but he had that same attitude as a Joe DiMaggio. And Joe DiMaggio, even in his
yeah,
later
whatever.
years, was asked by a sports reporter, "Hey, why did you hustle out that double? You don't have to do that. You guys were ahead on the scorecard." And Joe DiMaggio says, "Well, there may have been somebody in the stands that never seen me play before." And I think Mick Foley had that same attitude. There may be somebody that's never seen me
Yeah,
wrestle before, and I'm going to go out there and do this. Can you imagine if everybody else had half that attitude?
and another thing
Half
with
that
Mick
attitude.
Foley,
It's amazing.
some of these guys, you don't remember some of their old characters. You remember every character
The
Mick
Cactus
Foley
Jack.
was, and they were all great.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Dude Love, Cactus Jack. I mean, they're all great.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right. Now we go through our list. I think that's a pretty impressive list. And I think we have our own
Yeah.
reasons, for those lists. And, when Ray comes back, we'll make sure we get with Ray's list. And then we'll make fun of him for having his list. It's probably going to be Seth Rollins. Let's see. It's probably going to be
Now he
Drew
likes CM Punk.
McIntyre.
He's a big
We didn't
CM
even talk
Punk.
about Drew McIntyre's match. Now, CM Punk is
No,
a great,
that
yes,
was
I'd put CM Punk up there, but not my top 5. Definitely one of my favorites.
no the
Maybe
Drew.
next time we'll talk tag team.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, there you go. I'd like to do that. That's a good.
there's been some. I mean, I've been fortunate when I was younger, got to see some of the greatest tag teams, the Wild Samoans, uh, Professor Tanaka and Mr. Fuji. A lot of these guys, were phenomenal. They were true tag teams, and you absolutely fell in love with them.
Yeah.
The British Bulldogs. I can go on and on with the list of names, but I think we'll talk tag teams at some point. So, Mafia Bob, do you have any final thoughts?
Just trying to stay entertained with some of the matches on with no crowd. It's hard, but like you said, there are some that you love to see. Like I honestly, the Kabuki Warriors with Alexa Bliss and them the other night was great. Just hopefully Braun doesn't get hosed on this title thing. Just can't wait for it to get back to normal, really. Besides that, and I miss my boy Right Hook Ray too. Need to get him back in here.
Me too. Me too. Me too. That's ladies and gentlemen, my final thought is this, and thank you, Mafia Bob, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Oh yeah, I'm real busy too.
Not really. My final thought is this. I think the WWE and AEW has done the best that they possibly could without the crowds. I was skeptical first why they didn't just postpone everything. I understand why, but when it comes down to the bottom line, it's not the same product. It's different, but I think that they actually saved themselves, in the revenue stream side of it and also the attention side of it. So hats off to them for actually taking a risk and trying to make that happen without a live crowd. So that's all I got, guys. Hey, I'd like to thank our good friend Kevin, who's put this together for us. So Nikki, LK1, Turbo, Lacey, the whole gang. So give them a big shout out.
Hey,
And
real quick, Lon.
yeah.
Tiff wants to hit me in the back with a kendo stick.
Does she have one there?
Yeah, she's gonna do it. Go ahead, Tiff. Go
Do you
for
have
it.
it, kid? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna get my wife to watch this. Hold on, Lori. Oh, she hit him already.
Oh, she can do another one.
What'd she cheer?
She can do another one. I'll take another one. Remember Stone Cold on the ESPN commercial? Give me another one.
Yeah. Hit him again, Tiff.
Go ahead, Tiff. Give me another one. Ah.
Oh.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Man, what's your safe word? Is it pineapple? Oh, wow. I know. I think Mafia Bob's enjoying that. All right, Mafia Bob, thanks a lot for coming out. Right Hook Ray, we miss you. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Talk to you next time on Lonnie Boy's House Show.